to the Kodak Instant Savings Show. Now, Kodak will pay you up to $10 when you buy Kodak Instant cameras and film.
Did you ever have a chance to use a Kodak product? A picture is said to be worth 1,000 words, and it's true. And it's for this reason we've always taken photographs in order to remember the special moments that happen in our lives. Kodak was one of the most well-known and largest corporations in the photography industry not long before the introduction of digital cameras and smartphones. The company came to prominence, but that's no longer the case. It's common to hear people describe a corporation as one whose executives fail to notice the changing times quickly enough. The executives were unaware they needed to innovate since digital technology was slowly but steadily destroying the conventional business model that made them successful. However, there's more to it. The events that happened to Kodak are much more complicated and instructive, making it worth telling the story of this former giant. Without further ado, let's dive into the video. Most millennials were born in the late 20th century, which means they witnessed the Kodak era or probably had a Kodak in their house. That's how popular Kodak was.
That saves yesterday for tomorrow. For your color pictures, ask for the film in the familiar yellow box, Kodak film.
The company was at the heart of everything connected to the photography industry. The Eastman Kodak firm was established way back in 1888 by George Eastman and operated as a photography, film, and image company. The brand immediately gained traction and a reputation for making the process of capturing images easier. Taking photos back then was quite a challenge due to the expensive and heavy equipment required to capture pictures. Operating the huge plates used to acquire the photographs was also a difficult operation. The plates had to be developed as soon as they were used to acquire a usable image, otherwise the image would be bad. And these elements combined made photography a costly endeavor that many people just couldn't afford. Kodak even coined the phrase, "You press the button, we do the rest," to help simplify the procedure. The firm delivered on its promises and made photography more accessible to everyone. The firm began operating immediately right after it was created with a clear goal. The Kodak camera was Kodak's initial product, launched shortly after the company was formed. Unlike other cameras used, this one was easy to use, highly portable. The company distinguished itself from the rest of the companies mainly through and thanks to this unique product. But that's not all. The product had another more incredible feature. The most distinguishing feature of the camera was it didn't need the plates where the pictures would be captured. The camera came pre-installed with Kodak film rolls that could shoot up to 100 still photos. There were also other benefits of owning a Kodak, as the film also allowed consumers to return the film, develop and print the photographs for a minimal price, which many people took advantage of. So it is true, all you had to do was hit the button and Kodak would take care of the rest. You ever heard of the razor and blade strategy? That's when a company offers its items at a cheap cost to reach as many individuals as possible. Well, Kodak utilized that same business model as they offered a large number of cameras at low cost to reach many individuals, and it worked. However, you might be curious, how did they earn money? Well, it was created from the other products, most of the time related to the first cheap sold product. So for Kodak, it included products like film rolls and those services, and the business model enabled the general public to acquire a camera, increasing Kodak's popularity. As a result, the company made way more sales and people were able to buy a camera for cheap during that time. Following their $1 camera announcement, the Brownie, Kodak's growth accelerated even more. The company began to include the cost of developing and printing film rolls in the price of the camera, and this increased the company's earnings and ensured clients were bound into their ecosystem since the company would be the only one to develop the film as the service was already paid. As time passed, Kodak didn't seem to be slowing down after early success, and they continued to innovate. Almost 5 decades after they were founded in 1935, the company made Kodachrome. This was an achievement for the company and the industry, but also the world, as the world's first colored film was on the market. The product became the company's most successful and longest-selling product. From its inception in 1939, colored film was produced for 74 years until production was discontinued in 2009. The following decade, from 1960 to 1970, Kodak experienced some of its most pivotal events. It created one of its most famous marketing initiatives, the Kodak moment.
Don't miss any of your moments. Capture them all on Kodak Gold film.
The ad was so successful that many people started to associate it with photographing memorable events in their lives. In 1962, the corporation was delighted to celebrate a sales achievement reaching $1 billion in sales. The Instamatic camera was released the following year and quickly became very popular.
Funny thing is, a lot of people still think that taking home movies is that complicated too. If that were true, believe me, I wouldn't take them. For instance, he's reloading the film. Let me show you how easy Kodak has made it for you and me with a Kodak Instamatic movie camera. You finish one roll of film, drop another one in, you're all set.
Mainly thanks to the simplicity of use. It was the first camera with a point-and-shoot lens. And some years later, in 1966, the company took the honor after its camera and film technology were used to capture the very first photo of Earth taken in space. So the company's revenues had reached unprecedented heights, surpassing $2 billion. In the same decade, George Eastman and Thomas Edison had also invented something that revolutionized the photography and cinema industries. They collaborated on developing the ever-popular 35mm film, which is still used to make movies today. For the first time, the company delved into producing unique film that would be utilized in viewing X-rays. The start of the 70s came with the introduction of a new product Kodak was not associated with. This was a digital camera. Ironically, the first one was invented by Kodak, but they failed to create a solid product from it. Steve Sasson, a Kodak engineer, invented the first charge-coupled device, or CCD, image sensor with 0.1 megapixels back in 1975. To create the world's first digital camera, he utilized inexpensive components found at the company workplace. And being a good employee, he brought it to his employers to tell them about his innovative invention. The answer was unexpected. Here's what they said: "That's cute, but don't tell anyone about it. That's how you shoot yourself in the foot." Just like that, the company overlooked the next great step in the industry, mainly due to its other products like film and paper business being so successful. This exact moment marked the start of a company's downfall after more than a century of prosperity. In 1976, Bryce Bayer, a Kodak researcher, invented the first color filter array. The filter allowed the digital camera sensor to adjust brightness in different colors. The technology helped revolutionize the photography industry by helping cameras take color pictures and videos, and it's still used today. Kodak was at that moment still the biggest company in the industry, with an estimated share of 85 to 90%. The company had already made $10 billion in sales by 1981. This was short-term success for the firm, since the new technology, the digital camera, was rapidly gaining appeal among customers. Kodak's downfall truly started when the industry was joined by competitors able to invest large amounts of money. In addition, the industry was turning toward digital cameras, which Kodak neglected. By 1984, it was clear that Fujifilm's goods were favored over Kodak's.
おめでとうございます。よかったですね。
These Japanese goods were 20% less expensive than Kodak and maintained the same level of quality. Kodak earned the majority of its money at this time by selling film rolls. This helped the company feel secure, since they're still making money despite the arrival of digital cameras. The firm created the world's first digital SLR camera in 1991. This one was revolutionary because it enabled the camera's operator to see what they were talking about as if they were looking through the lens of a camera. A mirror prism system was employed, and despite this, the camera remained analog. When the new century began, Kodak's fortunes began to deteriorate. Even though their sales were at an all-time high in 2004, their profitability plummeted. And this prompted the company to take action, but it was too late when they got into the digital market. The firm began by developing digital cameras and printers that could be used to print the photos, and their attempts to regain clients were in vain. people had formed the impression that Kodak was just an old traditional corporation linked to film rolls and cameras. The company's revenues continued to decline, leaving it little choice but to reduce its activities to stay afloat. One of the company's inventions was sold to LG Corporation in 2009. This was the OLED technology they had developed in collaboration with Sanyo in 1999. After a great run of more than 130 years, Kodak was brought to its knees just 3 years later. In 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy and stated all of its products would be discontinued and would only be manufactured in just a few. In the 2020s, the company's been able to make a bit of a comeback in the industry. It started to concentrate on digital printing, touch displays, and printers despite its weaknesses. And despite this, Kodak continues to produce the old analog photographic materials that helped it become a behemoth in the industry for almost 130 years. The firm does this by producing chemicals used in the production of film roll. It entered the competitive printer market thanks to an endless list of patents. A result, many firms throughout the globe have purchased multifunction printers, which have become a standard in certain workplaces. We can all agree this was really a terrible end for a giant like Kodak that had dominated the photography industry for over 130 years. Despite the turbulence, the firm has been able to recover. It lately earned a profit from the sale of still film rolls, due to renewed interest in shooting with an analog camera versus a digital camera. But will the industry go back to analog tech, or is it just a temporary trend? Hey, let us know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching. And don't forget, subscribe and activate those notifications for more interesting videos. Cheers.